writing contest. So as you can see here, there's a little pop-up that shows up when I first log into LightSail, and it shows that information about the Become an Author writing contest. So actually, previous to this month, kids could only read and answer questions in LightSail. But with all of these distance and remote days happening, we actually developed a feature where students can write their very own book and publish it to the LightSail Library. And they could either have kids in their school or New York City as a district. So we work with a bunch of schools in New York City. They could open up their book to just New York City kids, or to LightSail readers worldwide. So pretty awesome. We actually extended the contest. We got so much interest that right here it says that it ends in 2 days, but we actually extended it until May 31st. So if your students haven't submitted their book yet or gotten started, they still have over 15 days to do that. And there are different prizes, as you can see here. So when they log in, you can read through this again, and you can click here, or they can click here and show you, and that will give you all the guidelines and more information. There's also a tutorial video when I click out. Again, I'm logged in as a student right now. Right here, this orange button on the top left corner, watch how to author a book. That's a tutorial video of actually me showing the kids how to do that. So we know that kids are super tech savvy. So once they watch that video, they should be good to go. But we're definitely promoting this contest. And when I was talking with Principal Mercedes last week, he was excited about it and was hoping that some kids would take part. It's totally optional and just a fun thing to do. And creativity is encouraged. So they can write about any topic they want. All right, so just giving you a quick overview of the student side of the platform. On the right side, they can see some reading stats about themselves. And these are similar stats to what you'll be able to see from the parent account if you choose to set one up. So they can see their Lexile level, which is their reading level. The higher the level, the higher the numerical number, the more advanced they are as a reader. High school, like the highest Lexile goes is about a 1700 Lexile. They say that the average high school student, I know you're middle school, but just to give you an idea of where it goes, the average high school student that's ready and for college is at about a 1300 Lexile. So you might see, your kids are probably all over the map, but just so you know kind of where that goes. So I can scroll down. I can see, my minutes read this year, going right to left this month, this week, or just today. Okay. The goal at MS 390, and speaking with the administrators there, is for kids to be reading in LightSail for an hour each weekday. So hopefully they are hitting that mark and they're reading 60 minutes each day. Obviously, you can check this week and see if they've hit that goal each day. Or if they only read 20 minutes yesterday, maybe they can make up for lost time today. You kind of get the gist. They can check pages read, words read, books completed. This is just all fun little data about themselves. These cloze scores, we're going to talk a lot about these today. These are very important. A cloze, C-L-O-Z-E, is a fancy word for a vocabulary assessment or quiz. If you're familiar with LightSail or you've seen some LightSail books opened, you know that there are a lot of these in our books. So about every third page, there are vocab quizzes throughout the books. And actually, these are the tool that we use here at LightSail to judge if your student's reading level has gone up. So answering those vocab questions correctly is very important, okay? The goal is to answer those at 75% or higher. This student, it looks like, is at 85%. Okay. If they don't answer them correct, they can go and retake them. And that's what this score is here on the right. So to retake any vocab questions off their main menu, they can go to the bottom and click on Word Work. And that will help them practice all the words they missed. Their teacher might be also prompting them to do this, but I just wanted to make sure you knew that. So right off my home screen, I can choose a book to read. But your kids have been in LightSail a lot, so you know they've already read a lot of these books probably. Or they might not see a book right off their home screen that they like. I just have to quickly check in. I do a lot of demos in this account. I just have to quickly check in a book so that I can take another one out to show you how to do that. There we go. So if they don't see a book right off their home screen, they can click Open Library right here on the top middle, and it will pop them into a full library page. I often connect this page to the Netflix of books because I feel like it looks a lot like Netflix, and kids know really well how to find things they like in Netflix. So they can figure it out in Netflix, they can figure it out here. So just like any, video system, you can scroll left to right, you can scroll up and down, and these are all different types of books, all the different kinds of books that the kids can see, okay? They can resort their library up here on the top left by topic, by genre, by series, or they can look for just books in their just right range, and those are called power texts. So you'll notice here, we have books, some with a lightning bolt symbol and some without. The books with the lightning bolt symbol show that this book is just right for this student and it's in their just right range. The book without the lightning bolt symbol we call a free choice book. They're allowed to read a free choice book every other book, and vice versa. They have to read a book in their just right range when they're not reading a free choice book. So it flip-flops. And the reason for that is because we really want to make sure, especially when the kids are home, that they are reading books that they understand, that the questions are at their level, and so on, okay? So when I open up a book, let's choose one. Let's see, I really like ancient history. So if you don't see one right on this main screen, just like Netflix, you can have a whole library page of just whatever topic you have here. So I can actually, on the right side here, click View All and get just a whole library of ancient history books. Now, your kids should know how to do this because they're LightSail experts and have used it. For 7th and 8th graders have used it for years now. And 6th graders, almost a whole year. So they should know how to do that. There is about 400 books in Spanish also. And you'll see here that the Spanish book under C here for Pompeii, it matches an English book all the way here on the right. So the 400 Spanish books also come with the matched English book as well. All right, so if I find a book I like, I can open it up. Let's see. Do Ancient Greek. I get a little summary of the book, and the kids know how to do this. I just want you to make sure you know what they're looking at. I can see the level of the book right here in 810 Lexile. But remember that code here, this lightning bolt, tells me this is already in my just right range. So I should be good to go. Now, if your students publish a book, their books are going to look just like this. And they get to write a little summary right here that other kids see before the other kids open their book. And other kids can give them a thumbs up, and then they can see how many people finish the book too. That's the check mark. Okay. So when I click read, I'm brought right into the e-reader screen. Here we go. I can adjust the font, and kids are used to this, but just so you know, I can adjust the font size and type and so on. I just wanted to quickly show you the vocabulary quizzes that I was talking about on the homepage. This is what they look like. They're green boxes like this. So as I'm reading along, I click on the green box and I pick the best word that fits. Okay. So on the parent portal, you might see some assessment scores or quiz scores, and that's what the closes are. Okay. All right, so I'm going to now just quickly show you how the kids can write in LightSail, and then I'm going to switch to the parent view, okay? So off their main menu, the very last option is called Author a Book. They click there, and they can work on different books at a time. They can also enter more than one book to the writing contest if they want. To start a new book, they click the plus sign here. Or to work on a current book, they click the little pencil. Okay. And again, the student video using this orange button goes through all this. So I'm not gonna give you a full demo here. I'm just gonna kind of show you what's possible. So they do answer or fill out some information about the book, and then they can make different chapters. They can add in photos from their own device or from our LightSail gallery. And again, this is all throughout the video. We're really encouraging creativity for the contest. They can use, again, photos from us or from their own computer. They can also embed educational YouTube or Vimeo links, and directions, again, are in the student video. We encourage them to just add a little clip of a video and not a long video, because this contest is about their writing, not about other people's videos. So directions are there to add the video. Then in the end, very important, when they submit their teacher cannot see their writing until they submit the book for review. Just because they submit the book for review doesn't mean it's ready to be published, but it means it's ready for their teacher to give it a first look. And with working with the MS 390 teachers, I'm going to make sure that they're in there and checking that these books are being reviewed and commented on. So once they do that, they can wait and hear back from their teacher. Let's see if I click in review. Yep. So these little bubbles here, this means my teacher has gone in and left me comments. So I can now go back in and make my edits. And then my teacher has to publish it in the end. So if your student has already submitted a piece of writing in LightSail, they might have to remind their teacher to go in and review it and publish it, because it cannot be entered into the contest until their teacher does that. Okay. All right, before I jump over to the parent side, any questions that have come up from your students already, or that you saw something today that you wanted to hear a little bit more about before I flip screens? I think no news is good news, so we're probably good. Okay.
Yeah, but I would just like to remind all the parents that came in a little bit later that we're passing attendance, if they could write their kid's name on the chat. Thank you. And if they have email addresses that are not shared with us, to please write it on the chat. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks for that little announcement. All right. So for those that came in late, I'm Liz from LightSail. I'm here to just give you a little tour of what your kids see in LightSail, and also talk about something called the LightSail Parent Portal. This is the ability to get a parent account through LightSail. So we'll have to maybe talk, I don't know if Principal Mercedes is still on the call, but I would think the easiest way for the parent portal is, if you're interested in getting a parent account, if you could email your child's homeroom teacher and explain to them, I sat in on the LightSail call and I'm interested in getting a LightSail account, they can ignite it from their teacher account and send you the invite email. That's probably the easiest way, because I know some people might be okay with just looking on their child's account, but if you want your own, I think the easiest way is to email your student's homeroom teacher. Or you could email Ms. Verona and she can forward it to me, or Mr. Ortiz, who's the IT staff, and the three of us can work on it as well. All right, so I'm going to just flip. So once you email the teacher and let them know that you want the parent account, they actually send you a generic email from LightSail. Okay, and that generic email looks like this. Okay, can you, I flipped screen. So can you see this email with the green rose and LightSail button in the middle?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So this is, I use one of my, we always have a million emails, one for promotions, one for you give to people you don't want emailing you all the time, your work email. So this is one of my extra emails I pulled up. So in your regular email, you'll get this invite email, and it's from a do not reply at LightSail. Okay, the subject is Rose and LightSail Parent Portal, and it will say view your kid's name reading achievement. So to get to kickstart your LightSail account, you click join here in the middle. And it's now going to bring you to the parent portal registration. I think it's going to tell me, I knew that was going to happen. You're already registered. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure that out. Okay. So I'm not sure who I registered to. So you then fill out your first name and last name, your email, and you make a password that you can use in LightSail. Okay. So this, you'll want to write this down because you're going to need this again to get into your student's LightSail account. Okay. So actually, sorry, I'm going to flip screens one more time. When I do my demos, I use funny celebrity names, and I just happen to think that one of the celebrities I have as a parent account. So let's see here. This is what teachers see, by the way. Starting Monday, they're actually going to get a live feed of what the kids are reading, and their assessment scores are going to show live on their dashboard for the first time ever. So the teachers, I'm just modeling what teachers would have to do quickly. I just want to see which parent or kid account. I thought I had one on here. I guess not. Okay, so for the parent portal, sorry, I'm not going to get to show you exactly what the parents see today. Your home screen is going to be just a table of very light stats. It's basically these stats on the right, but in a table form instead of listed. So minutes read, pages read, and so on. The two other screens that you can see are the progress page and the portfolio page. These are also pages that the teacher and the student can see, so all three of you. I'm just because I have only a few minutes left, I'm going to focus mostly on the portfolio page because the progress page is pretty easy to understand. The progress page is a calendar of all the minutes they've read this week or this month. Okay, and you can track their reading log there. I know actually Ms. Verona and I had talked about getting parents to really start looking at that calendar. So that's off the progress page. And you'll have access to that off your parent portal. You can also see their reading growth this year on a little chart. All right, so really quickly, the portfolio page, if you want to dig in deeper than just minutes read might be enough for you to track, and that's fine. The portfolio is going to show you actually all the books your kid has read this year in LightSail. Look at this, kid's read a ton. Okay. And their scores in each book. So as you click down, you can see their scores in each book. Again, if they've missed vocabulary questions, they can go retake them. Once they retake them, they'll show up here under the missed closes, but it will mention that they did do the retake. Okay. This is just a good way if you want to make, some dinner conversation about the books your kid read today or this year. Ask what they learned about dragons or about ancient Egypt or pyramids or the wonders of the world. Okay, so it's kind of fun just to see what your kids are interested in. And then if they've been assigned any specific books in LightSail from their teacher, you see there's 3 tabs up here under the word portfolio. They can see my assignments. They can see their scores on their graded books. Okay. And then they can see if their teachers assigned any read aloud and ask them to do any recordings and reading out loud into their iPad. They can see their score for those, and you can too, right here off the My Fluency results. Again, the My Assignments is the middle one, and just the history of their free choice reading all the way to the left. All right, so email your child's homeroom teacher if you would like them to send you that welcome email that you saw. You'll click join Rose and LightSail here in the middle. You'll sign up on a little post-it or in your phone. You're going to want to make sure to write down your login, and then you can join. Something good to know too is you can do this from your phone. So I know whoever is running this meeting mentioned that you might end up using your child's iPad, but you can actually just use your smartphone to get into the parent portal account as well. It doesn't have to be a big device.
Okay, so there's a question in the chat. So say if parents are able to see from the portal if the child didn't finish a particular book or has started many books and not finished completely.
Great question. Yes, you are. So actually, if I go back to that portfolio page that we were just on, I notice that this student, I think, or it's just me, so Liz, you'll actually, if the kid finished the book, there would be a check mark next to the book. So I use this account for a lot of demos, so I know for sure that she hasn't finished a lot of books, but I'll show you the difference. So see here, The Legend of Robin Hood has a check, and so does Identifying Rocks. Those are the only 2 books this kid has finished all year. Your kids hopefully are going to have more checks than this demo account, but you kind of get the gist. The best case is if there's a lightning bolt and a check, because that shows it was a just right book and they finished it. Okay. When you click on a book that wasn't finished, up top here in the middle in green, you can see that they ditched it or abandoned it and how far through the book they left. So this book, Meet Me on the Court, is a good fictional book about basketball if any kids need book suggestions. And they left and didn't go past 9% of the book. So they only went in a few pages. Okay, so that's how you tell. At first glance, you're looking for the check marks. If you want to look deeper, you can click on the book and see how far through the book they were here in the middle in green.
And Elizabeth, they're able to see this from their parent portal, not from the child's side.
They are, yes. So they can see the portfolio page, that progress page with the little calendar, and then one other screen that has like a table of different report data points about their child.
Thank you.
Great question.
If there's any question, people could join in and ask Elizabeth. We're talking about LightSail, that is our application that mimics a library in the school. If you want access to this application, you could reach out to your ELA teacher, to myself, Mr. Duran, or Ms. Barona.
Elizabeth, I'm
Yes.
sorry. This is Ms. Verona. Will you be able to show the parents the summary report from the parent portal?
I can't get, I was trying to get onto one and I can't figure out how to get on. Why don't we?
I have it on my computer. Would you like me to display it so you can show the
Oh,
parents?
sure. Yes. Did you do a test as a parent?
No, I have the document that you sent me to my email that has all the steps.
Oh, you know what? I actually might too. Good call, Ms. Verona. I did actually pull that up. You were,
Yes, scroll
yep.
down. There you go.
This is the table I was talking about.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let me zoom in here. Sorry, it's a little blurry. You kind of get the gist, though. I'll walk you through it. So it'll tell you, Miss Verona, coming to saving the day here. So it'll tell you their Lexile or reading progress. Okay, so up here you can see my mouse moving. It'll tell you where they started. So every kid at MS390, your teachers were great about getting your kids in early and taking the first test. So that should say, you know, September. So it's going to tell you where they started, where they currently are, and how much growth they made. Pretty great. It's also going to show you the projected amount of growth that they're expected to make in the next month or two. So just a fun little stat. And then it'll tell you what book they're currently reading, the percentage through the book they are, how many pages they've been in, how many minutes, their little assessments or quiz scores. So that's good to know. And then it will give you their reading progress for the time periods that are the same as the kids' side. You can see how many minutes they've read today, this week, this month, and then this year. Okay, so you can see books they finished. The PT completed, that's power texts completed. Remember, that's the fancy word for the just right level books. So the text completed is the total number. And then the next column is just the just right books in their range that they've completed. At the very least, it's going to be at least have to be just right level books, because remember, they're required every other book to read a just right book. But most kids end up picking the just right books more than half the time anyway. And then the pages read, minutes read, and then the little scores. The badges, you'll see that a few times. That's their little awards that they've won in LightSail. So they can earn a badge or an award for the different types of books they've read, for being a wordsmith and reading a certain amount of words or getting a certain amount of questions right. So it's just a fun pop-up that comes up that lets them know that they've earned an award that day. So this is a handout actually that we have in both English and Spanish. So your staff can send this out and get parents, make sure parents are set up. Actually, yep, so it looks like I was right. You can have the summary report, which is the little table that we just looked at. You can see their badges. You can see that portfolio page that I showed with the reading history. You can see the progress, which is the calendar and the graph. And then you can actually, something else I forgot about, is you can set little goals for your kids too. And this is called the gift goals. So you could say something like, hey, I'll give you an extra half hour of TV time tonight if you get your 60 minutes of reading done today. Or if you get 10 vocabulary questions in a row, we can go for an extra ice cream on Friday, something like that. So that might be fun to play around with too, is the gift goals. All right. And that handout is available for parents, so you can see step-by-step how to get signed up and then what each screen looks like. Any other questions before we jump off to the next topic?
We are running a little out of time.
Yes, I'm good. So if there's no more questions, you can. I can stop
I just want to make a comment and basically just to let parents know the reason why we went in the direction of having an application like LightSail in our school. And it was because, you know, vocabulary as we know it, right, it is a strong indicator of student success. And so, but the only way that you acquire vocabulary is by reading. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of wanted to make reading more of an activity where kids would get motivated. And at the time, using a laptop was a motivator. And so we actually found out that kids were, you know, especially our kids were not that motivated of having physical books. And so the visit to the library was a little bit not happening. And so as a result, we moved on to LightSail. And so one of the things that I really want parents to actually do is to use that parent portal as a bank statement, right? And so your kids at this point have to be able to learn 3,000 vocabulary words, and that's what a normal student throughout the year does. At this point in time, because of the remote learning, and you don't know when we're gonna go back, right? And if we don't go back in September, it's gonna be more of an interruption. And so it is very critical that we provide students the opportunity to read on a daily basis, at least for an hour. They might not get the 3,000 words this year because it's just not the same when we're structured in school versus remote learning, but at least they'll get close to that. And so by the time they finish 390, as they enter the 6th grade, the normal students will learn about 9,000 words. And so that's our course. And so, we need your help in making sure that this activity takes place because, your kids are your greatest asset. And so we need to get them ready to go above and beyond what we, normally like them to do. And so if someone would have said to me when I was in high school that in college, in order to be successful, all you needed to do was read and write, my college experience would have been, a lot smoother. But no one sat down with me to tell me that. So I learned that, actually while I was in college, right? That, all I had to do was read and write. But we're telling our kids today that in order to be successful in life, you need to do not only read and write, but you need to do it well. And the way you do it well is by continuing to practice. And so I just wanted to, share that with the families, just to see that we need to provide those opportunities for students to engage in that activity on a daily basis, at least an hour.